Not exactly the encore we were hoping for, but the Blue Jays handled the Dodgers, and that series is now tied at 2 games apiece. Game coming up tonight. Still no update on George Springer. He missed Game 4. His status for Game 5 is unclear. Ohtani pitched. He pitched okay. Didn't do anything at the plate. But you had Vlad Guerrero Jr. III has been the best player so far in the World Series. 26 hits, 7 home runs, 14 RBIs in the playoffs. These are all Blue Jays franchise records for a single postseason. But he took advantage of a meatball that Ohtani hung, and Ohtani knew it right away because that's a pitch that Ohtani hits out of the ballpark. But Vlad Guerrero sitting on that pitch, and it was flat, and he took it deep. So the Blue Jays, they battled adversity. They're a big underdog here, and you win that game following what happened the night before. But when you think about it, I think they left 19 runners in scoring position in the previous game. They could easily be up 3-1. Right now, tied at 2. They have more hits than the Dodgers do. But here's your pivotal Game 5 coming up tonight. All right, Seton, poll question for the first hour. What are we thinking?
Well, we're just batting this one around right now. For whom is tonight's game more must-winish? For whom is tonight's game more must-winish?
Ish.
I would say the Dodgers.
Really?
Yeah, because then you go back to Toronto. Oh, look at Marvin, all decked out in his Blue Jay gear.
Come on, let's go. We're doing this for Carlos Delgado. Come on.
You could be a bench coach there with Don Mattingly.
Come on. Oh, how many? Okay. Lefty. Okay, we'll take a lefty.
Yeah. I would say must-winish for the Dodgers because then it goes back to Toronto. So what else do you have?
We also had another one. Who or whom are you rooting for, the Blue Jays or Dodgers?
Well, this is a breakdown prior to the start of the World Series. 4 states that they were rooting for the Dodgers. Everybody else was rooting for the Blue Jays. That was the breakdown across the country. I could see that. I don't know if they're rooting for the Blue Jays or rooting against the Dodgers. That, have the Dodgers graduated to the evil empire? With the Yankees, even then when you look at the Yankees in the mid-'90s, they weren't an evil empire or players. You didn't like A-Rod, but you liked Paul O'Neill and you liked Bernie Williams and Mo Rivera and Derek Jeter. Maybe it was the old George Steinbrenner. You didn't like him, but still, do you dislike the Dodgers? I don't think Ohtani has graduated to that where now you don't like him or now you root against him because it's still a great story and you see something you've never seen before. But Freddie Freeman, Clayton Kershaw, Dave Roberts, Mookie Betts, those aren't guys that you root against. You may not root for, but I don't think you go, I'm looking forward to seeing that guy lose. You might have thought that with Roger Clemens, with A-Rod, maybe Andy Pettitte, but for the most part, those Yankees in the mid-'90s were, they were great players. Those were great teams. But I don't think the Dodgers have graduated where you may not root for them, but I don't think you're rooting necessarily against them, unless just the whole premise of they spend more money than everybody else, and that's not fair. Maybe that is probably what, but the Yankees did the same thing. People say, they're buying another World Series. Well, okay, here are the Dodgers. The Mets tried to do it. But maybe that's what it would be is I don't like what they stand for or their business model. But every fan would want this. If your team could spend the money, you'd go, hey, I don't care what you think. And that would be my attitude as well. We are playing by the same rules as you. We just said to Shohei Ohtani, how about we defer $68 million a year after you retire? How about you play for $2 million? Okay. They just kind of circumvented the rule. This was a New England Patriots, Bill Belichick kind of moment where you go, wait, what are they doing? But anybody else can do this as well. I don't know if Soto said, hey, I'm going to play for $2 million and then defer all my money to help out the Mets. I don't think that happened. Yes, Eaton.
A-Rod wasn't really part of that great Yankees run. He came after the fact, so that's when it was really hateable.
Okay.
They were really He got one ring with them, but he missed that, like, Paul O'Neill wave, say.
Yeah,
Bernie Williams and all that.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think...
and A-Rod's got a documentary out. It's A-Rod versus Alex, and I guess his two personalities. They didn't interview me for that, which I thought maybe I'd get a cameo in there since I was going to say we nearly came to blows. It was he nearly punched me because there wouldn't have been blows. It would have been, what happened? Did he hit me? Okay. But I thought maybe I'd get a cameo in there, but I didn't. I don't even know if they bring up the interview that we had with him that kind of started that mess with him and Jeter when he was calling out Jeter and saying that he doesn't do anything as good as Alex does. Why are they paying him $18 million a year? Yes, Paul.
It's probably one of those documentaries where the subject of the documentary is also the executive producer, which is really not good for objectivity. Executive producer Alex Rodriguez, how is that going to be objective?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I made the cut there. No one reached out. No one said, hey, can we use a clip from your radio show when Alex called out Derek Jeter? And then got mad at me because we played it on the radio show, and then he did an interview with Scott Rabb and said the same thing in, I think, Esquire magazine. The same exact stuff when he was interviewed by Scott Rabb. And I go, how can you be mad at me when you said the same thing to a magazine writer? Yes, Paul.
Going back to the 90s Yankees, their players weren't likable, and even their winning wasn't dislikable. It's what happened after when, if you're a fan of the Pirates or whatever team, you knew if you had a star player, the Yankees are going to grab them. That it's almost more like the late 90s, early 2000s Yankees where, hey, Kevin Brown, and he's a Yankee. And Mike Mussina, he's a Yankee.
Johnny Damon.
Yeah.
Come on over here.
So like the Dodgers, there's no reason to dislike them. They're following the rules. They're doing great work, and their players are likable. But it's the effect where you realize there's like a 50% chance that Paul Skeens will be a Dodger in 2 years.
Yeah, but, the Yankees did this, but the Yankees were the first to really monetize having their own network. When you think about the Yes Network, they were so far ahead of everybody else. And then they treated this, and we've talked about this before, they treated their starting lineup like it was must-see TV, like Thursday night NBC must-see TV with Friends, where you're seeing your stars. You're seeing star power. And I thought it was brilliant. But that's what the Dodgers are doing. They're spending the money. We're going to bring in people that you know. When you tune in, the Blue Jays, I don't know them. I know Bichette and I know Vlad and Springer. But, they're trotting out. I got Ohtani. I got, the biggest sports star in the world. And you got Freddie Freeman. You got Mookie Betts. You got that Dodger backdrop, the Dodger uniforms. The stars come out to watch the they treat it like that. It's an experience to watch. And I think that's a, brilliant business plan. Yes, Eaton.
I just prefer teams that win rings in a more fiscally conservative manner.
Yeah, who does that?
Who does that?
I just prefer that.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck on that.
Yeah, no, okay, that's what I wrote. Look at all the money they spend. Yeah, no crap. Look at the money everybody's spending. Everybody's spending a ton of money. Anybody who's actually competitive is spending a fortune.
I would love for my team to spend money. If I was a fan and I would say, I wish we would spend more money. I don't think there's a fan base that says, hey, let's be responsible here.
Yeah, I mean, I have to balance my home budget. Why doesn't the team balance theirs?
Right. Like the Dodgers are spending $350 million on this team right now. And you can make the case, Toronto's spending $100 million less, but they're spending $255. They're seventh. They're not the 28th team. They're not this lovable, cute town of Toronto.
Yeah.
The international city.
Yeah.
Do you have an international airport? Okay.